أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers in Islam. In this video, I would like to make a comment on the video released by Seekers Guidance, the Global Islamic Seminary in North America. The topic is the Sunnah elements of the prayer, the fiqh of worship for youth, by Imam Yama Niazi. Almost 46 minutes fatwa. I read it, I heard it, but let us accept the reality. The Quran was revealed for correction, Tawheed, and then Risala. Tawheed in Mecca, Risala in Medina. The Levites, who knew the Torah before, none of the tribes was allowed to read the Torah except the Levites. So there cannot be mistake. There cannot be mistake. So the same thing should apply to us, but there is equality and freedom in Islam. There's no restriction. Even the Quraysh were warned against deviating from the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with its consequences. What of generations after them? The same thing. Now, my brothers, there is no pillar of Islam more important than as-ṣalāt. Tawheed took 13 years to teach, including salat, but not in congregation. There is no Sunnah of salat in Mecca, but in Medina, it took 10 solid years of preaching and the practical usage. 40 or 70 days before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left the world, 120,000 Ṣaḥābas witnessed, had to observe obligatory prayers, but unfortunately, or whatever may be the case, it was qasr prayer. Simplified, made easier, but definitely the Maghrib and Fajr prayers were not qasr. So at least 120 witnessed for 28 or 25 days how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam observed Maghrib and Fajr prayer. So there can't be mistake. So forget about any mazhaba. Forget about any mazhaba. Just get that information from the Ṣaḥābas and stick to it. Imam Yama Niazi, first of all, mentioned the book I have. Here it is. Al-Adhkar, Imam Nawawi. Imam Nawawi lived for only 45 years. And he did his best in transporting to us the narrations of the Ṣaḥābas. He's a transporter, and there are so many transporters. Even the Ṣaḥābas, 120,000 of them. So they can't make mistake. And the fact that the most important was Subuh, 2 obligatory prayers, 2 rak'ahs, and Maghrib 3, doesn't mean that there were mistakes in the last 2 rak'ahs. Can't be. So when I heard that the lifting of the arms is different between females and males, I quickly looked at my azkar, and truly speaking, I don't know the time, the year of publication, but I look at the contents. Definitely could be somewhere else, but according to the sequence, there is no mentioning of how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam raised his arms during Takbirat al-Ihram. And a warning, Imam Nawawi did not only quote, and I think hardly did he quote Imam Abu Hanifa. Hardly. I don't. You see, you have to read. Please read and see how many places did he quote Abu Hanifa. He is, I think, a Maliki or Shafi. I think he's a Maliki. He's a Maliki. So you will expect his istinbat to be on Maliki, so-called mazhaba. But don't forget that he also made a commentary on Sahih Muslim. So as I said, there is no place here why he mentioned how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam raised his fingers. To what level? If we check any book on the Sunnah, they said level of the earlobes or the shoulders. So, 2. But the problem we are facing is that there's no details of this type of differentiations. No details. Is it Jawar and Nafila, he raised them to the level of the shoulders? And the Jawar obligatory prayers to the level of the earlobes? You don't know. So why not practice which one is convenient to you? Instead of referring it to a mazhaba who has nothing to do with narration. He is just like us, and like a transporter. So there is a mistake there, my brothers. You are not, mistakes in prayer is not acceptable. And another dangerous attitude of our scholars is to say something is not, they said that, for example, they said if you don't do Takbirat al-Ihram, it's compulsory, but others does not invalidate your prayer. On what reason? Why? What is legislation? What is legislating? What is a legislator? You see, we have to be extremely careful not overstepping our bounds. Pray in the manner you see me praying. Straightforward. Where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is silent, make it silent. Not that because he forgot. It's just as a mercy. So why are we going to make life impossible? Trying to legislate as if you have the authority. I am just reading a book. Awasim, wal-Qawasim. Please read it. I think about 4 or 5 volumes. I'm reading volume 3. And the author, who died, I think, around 292 after Hijrah, he lived for 90 years, said that ijtihad is not meant of isaba. It's sawab. Sawab means what Allah commands. What Allah commands, you follow Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam A to Z. So why are we trying to teach something which is not in conformity with the purpose of revelation and the sending Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam protecting his Sunnah? The Sunnah is protected in the manner the Holy Quran is protected. So the fact that there are innovations, there's also kufr, there's also shirk. But an innovator is the worst of all the descriptions and the characterization of deviations, of disobedience. An innovator he will never enter paradise because he insults Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He slapped him on the face. He darkened his face. That's why innovation is a very critical and dangerous affair. But the Muslims don't understand it. Make it as simple. The Ṣaḥābas categorically never gave a fatwa on what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not do, with the aim of even making life easy. Look at Abdullah ibn Abbas when he was asked about standing or sitting on the toes. They say it is painful. He said, yes, it is painful, but I don't know. That is the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Look at this. Look at this, my brothers. But if you ask a scholar today, he will say, oh, don't do it. Look at all this nonsense and arrogance. So my brothers, I'm appealing to you to be extremely careful. I will still keep on insisting that there is no book in English language that describes as-ṣalāt better than the book Reviving as-ṣalāt of the Holy Apostle, according to the Sunnah of 4 or 5 Ṣaḥābas: Abu Bakr, Umar, Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Written in English language. It's available in Amazon. And I have been advising you to read. Today is better we come and write in English language all the mistakes during the obligatory prayers. But if you read other sharhs, you will never find any mistake or controversy. But the only problem is this: the Arabic language is a language of fluidity. You can never surpass it in explanation and descriptions. But that is actually against you, because it has explained everything in details that you will never say you don't understand. I'm not saying I know, but I'm saying I read. Uthaymeen, for example, said that there's no difference between raising the fingers, the hand, during at Kabiratul Ihram, both sexes. And have you read, if you read the book of Rahawi, where did any of the female narrators mention that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam instructed them to raise their hands to the level of the shoulders only? There's no such kind, there's no that place. So why are we trying to invent? So you have to be extremely careful. If you don't learn Arabic language, you will never have comfort in your life. Because me at 75 years of age, I find only comfort, pleasure in reading as much as I can any book referenced. I have to read it like this, the book I mentioned to Awasim. And Kawasim, I've just downloaded it not more than 10 days ago, and I'm reading it. And I'm getting more convinced that we are wrong. We are wrong saying that it's an army. Somebody who's a layman is wrong. What is the fitrah? How did Allah create you? Did he create you to enter paradise or to enter hell? Yes, both you can, but there is choice. Will you ever enter hell? Do you like the fire? Can you put your hand over a flame? You cannot. Even ordinary sun in the tropics, it's punishment. We go to air conditions. We go to under trees, and then we want wind to blow to cool the temperature. Look at this sun 3 feet or a foot away from your head. Look at this terrible description. And still you don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my friends, what I'm advising you is don't listen to any scholar. You have no excuse. Listen only to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the only way you can achieve that is by you learn Arabic language. The language of examination in the hereafter. If you fail, then you know the consequences. Nobody will ever accept the responsibility. Because the greatest deceiver, Allah tells us what He will tell you, that I have no responsibility over you, but only to deceive you, and you accepted my deception. Don't blame me. Blame yourself. I am far away from you. Also, I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my brothers, please, do your best to read as many books as possible, but all the books in English language do not carry the actual Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the book Revival as-ṣalāt of the Holy Apostle is there for you to read. Just not more than $10 or £10 sterling. You can't afford it. Enter paradise, my brother. Then you will never die, because Allah will ask, what did you do with the favor and the messenger I sent you? What did you do? Did you save yourself from the torment of the hellfire, even by telling the truth, reviving the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam once? You have to be extremely careful. Assalamu alaikum.